Hi friends, you got Renee Rivera here at Mold Mending. So I wanted to share a story with you about my vetting or carefully and critically examining a building to find out if I'm actually able to enter it for a special event I've been invited to out of town. So here's how it went down, okay? So since it was an unfamiliar building to me, I asked for the contact information as well as looked online for who would I reach out to ask questions about the building. So I was able to get a hold of the person in charge of, I think it's the director of the location. And then they also contacted the building maintenance individual. So what I did was I made 3 phone calls and finally and left a voicemail, and then was reached back by this director, and she asked how she could help me. And I said, well, I've got this mold illness and have some questions that I need to ask you about your building. And sometimes that surprises people when I ask that question, but then I explain a little bit about the illness and that walking into a water damaged building would be pretty bad for my health, and that I need to make sure, I'm going into a place that's safe for me. So she asked me to email her the questions and that she would get back to me. So I wanted to read to you the email. So I wrote, I have a rare illness called CIRS, a mold illness where mold is in my body and I'm trying to remove it and heal from it. I must avoid water damaged buildings so I do not get allergic reactions or ill. The questions pertain to this and specifically for the buildings that your parties are held in. Could you please answer the following? Thank you a million. So what year was this built? Has there ever been any water damage, flooding, ceiling leaks, stains on the ceiling, any mold ever, any musty smells? Is there a basement? And if so, is there wetness or dampness there? Has there been any professional remediation done to solve any of the above issues when they arose? And we are traveling long distance from out of state, and I truly wish to attend this event coming up at your facility. However, I have to make sure it is safe for my health. And here's the response. Your built was 69. Any water damage? Yes, on the lower level, basement. Flooding? Same thing. Ceiling leaks, stains on ceilings? Not that they're aware of. Mold, must? Not that I'm aware of. Basement present? Yes. Wetness and dampness? It's had flooded several times, but it has been a while. Any professional remediation? Not that they're aware of. And then they also stated by phone they didn't want to be liable if I got sick. And I said, I don't hold buildings liable for my choice of walking into them. But she stated in the email, please understand that there's no way that our organization can guarantee there is no mold in this building. Flooding issues seem to have been resolved years ago, and mold has not been observed, but there is mold outside. And as you know, it can be found anywhere. Hope you do get to enjoy the event. And then I put together my answer, which was not going because of the flooding that has happened. There has been water damage for sure. And so I thank them and their the building engineer that she forwarded this to, for their honesty in answering the questions and for their assistance, but that I will not be attending the event. And then they responded back with they're wishing me well. So then I contacted my friend and said, hey, I got a hold of the building and they said these things, and because of the history of flooding, I will not be attending the event, and I'm sorry. And how did I feel? I was disappointed, but I wasn't going to stay there. I was actually proud of myself after the initial disappointment. I was incredibly proud of myself for doing what I needed to do to take care of me. So, it's important to know this because those of us with CIRS, we don't want to accidentally put ourselves in mold/harm's way and it costing us a setback to our healing and it creating damage to us. So I want to share with you a little bit of facts. So mold and bacteria that grow in water damaged buildings produce toxins that do affect human health. And then I have a article that I pulled a little bit out of from drbecky.net on mold illness and CIRS. And she said for about 20% of the population, Exposure to a much larger list of molds and other organisms that thrive in water-damaged buildings, they can cause a pattern of chronic immune dysregulation called chronic inflammatory response syndrome, CIRS, and that's what I have. CIRS affects many systems of the body, with the primary symptoms manifesting in mucous membranes and the nervous system. Those who are genetically susceptible to CIRS, who are exposed to toxic microbes in water-damaged buildings, will experience a progression of multiple symptoms that gradually get worse. And then it goes forward. Like other chronic multi-system illnesses like Lyme, CIRS is not commonly recognized by most of the healthcare professions. So I wanted to bring this to you because I wanted to help you overcome a situation like this, instead of reacting as well with like a wallowing in a disappointment that you can't attend a major event. We can choose to be well, and we can be proud of it for choosing not to enter a place that could debilitate us or make us even more sick, or even shaving time off of our life. Seriously. So I choose to celebrate my use of boundaries instead of being disappointed. I'm proud that I used my voice to speak up for myself in this manner and asking the questions I needed to without fearing intimidation, without fearing what the result would be. I'm proud of my investigation skills. I'm choosing to be emotionally well, though it is a loss of time with friends. I'm proud that I'm considering alternative activities and alternative, celebratory food that I can have during that time frame. And you can even consider how to celebrate and the reason to celebrate by doing something different for those people. Let me explain. So my friends recently had an adoption day. They've been trying for 2 years to adopt a little one, and it just kept getting pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. And it finally happened. They found out that week. And so we had very little time to plan, but I knew that when it was going to go down, I wasn't personally going to be able to celebrate with them because their house has had water damage and I can't enter their home. And I thought, how can I still celebrate and participate in this massive eventful day? And I decided, I order groceries from Instacart. And I thought, I wonder if they do it at their house. So I looked it up. Instacart is this app where you can go order things and have it delivered to your home for a fee. And so I checked to see if my friend's home was in the network of that and if they would deliver there, and they would. I thought, I'll order a bouquet of balloons and have it delivered. As soon as they get home from the courthouse, they could get a knock on the door and have, ta-da, this telegram with balloons. And that's exactly what happened. And my friend was so surprised. So my personality got to go into that. She was so surprised. It had hearts and stars and flowers and pinks and silvers and reds. And she sent me a video of the 2-year-old just twirling in those balloons. And it just brought me joy that though I couldn't be there in person to celebrate this big day, it still represented me. It still brought a joy and a presence of me through the gift. And this reciprocation of filling my bucket, also of sending me that video, was a big deal to me. So I was appreciative of that. So we can still participate in creative ways if we choose, or we can just decide, I can't go, and we move on. So we can choose our mindset from loss, which is a fact, not belittling the fact that we're losing time with friends, but we can choose to go from loss and woe is me to choosing to be proud of ourselves. We can be proud of ourselves for saying no to a place that's hazardous to our health, and being proud that we followed even the hint, like that, just that little nudge inside of us. You followed your instinct and you chose wellness and safety and healing for yourself. We can place our vitality in the rightful place it should be, which is first and important, instead of after people pleasing and choosing to do for others versus for ourselves. We can choose not to throw ourselves under the bus or dismiss what we are sensing that we should be doing. You don't have to put yourself in bed so many days because you chose to do something that was harmful to you. You don't have to add to your toxic burden. You avoided extra pain and inflammation by making this choice, and you care for your brain, and you choose not to misfire words or lose memory or loss of even natural abilities because you chose health. You choose clear breathing instead of respiratory strain and distress, and you choose time by not having to remediate everything you wore to that event. You're even caring for your skin, and you're avoiding the cuts, the itching, the outbreaks, the rashes, and even the bleeding that this can cause. Yes, people, this causes it to us who have CIRS. You kept your vehicle and your home now from being cross-contaminated by mold, and you value your productivity of ability and availability versus making your work mode vanish and having a mush brain. And you choose wellness so that you can visit others. Like for me, I'm choosing wellness so that I can stay at the place I'm at now and have vitality to be able to serve others and to enjoy the things I want versus being bedridden for a while, just trying to recoup because of a choice I made. You're catapulting yourself versus starting back at zero. So by choosing health, you do not betray yourself. You do not dismiss yourself. And you do not dismiss all the warnings that were given. You can be proud of yourself. So not going is honoring yourself as much as those who would be at the event. So remember, you are your own advocate. You are your own warrior. You are your own cupbearer. That means the person that goes before you and tests things to make sure there's no poison in it before it goes to your body. So that's who you are. You are royalty and as well as the cupbearer, but there's only one you. So take care of you and be proud of you. Remember, we can be well even while ill, and we can choose to not enter poisonous places as well.